Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, Adharma Buddha's emanation, Mahodara Heruka, and the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities. Sumo, Tanzen Katso, Toten City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
아이시테루 샤랑에 오라미코 게게로 무초 스코인 이치반 키모지 주미 야비 브린브린 konnichiwa 新早，感恩。现在呢，先通知大家。
I would like to announce.
下个礼拜天。
For next Sunday,
2月20号
February 20th,
下午3点 p.m.
at 3 p.m.
是做金刚萨埵的护摩法会。
We will perform Vajrasattva Homa fire offering ceremony.
金刚萨埵
As we all know, Vajrasattva,
他是密教的教主。
We can say he is the chief or the founder of Tantric Buddhism. And he's also the Dharma Prince of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So he's the founder or the father of Tantric Buddhism. So he symbolizes Tantric Buddhism. So we can say that he is the lineage guru, the patriarch, or the father of Tantric Buddhism. All the teaching came from Adharma Buddha to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas to Vajrasattva. And Vajrasattva was the one who transmitted Tantric Buddhist Dharma. We often chant the Vajrasattva's 100-syllable mantra. That's the mantra of Vajrasattva, or Vajraheart Bodhisattva, the mantra.
贝扎萨多阿吽佩，它的忏悔咒是 Om 贝扎
and the
Samaya
repentance mantra.
Om 贝扎萨多阿吽佩，忏悔咒是 Om 贝扎 Samaya Sudaya。
So his mantra is Om Pizza Sato Ahompe, and the repentance mantra is Om Pizza Samaya Sudaya. So the 100-syllable mantra belongs to Vajrasattva or Vajra heart Bodhisattva. And his mudra is forming fist, and the right hand is facing in. The thumb is outside, and the left hand is facing outward, and the thumb is inside. That's his mudra. So we cultivate spiritually by practicing Tantric Dharma. So he's the founder of Tantric Buddhism. Of course, you have to create connection with Vajrasattva because you're practicing Tantric Buddhist Dharma. Yeah, whether you want to become primary supplicants or not. Go ahead. It's up to you. The translation of go ahead. So today we perform Mahotara Homa. So for this ceremony, why did we choose Mahotara? Because yesterday is to bestow blessings and to bestow great fortune to everyone. And today, primarily, is to bestow health. Without health, the great fortune would be useless. So we often say that health is most important for a human body. If you have a healthy body, then you can enjoy the great fortune. So even if the great fortune is given to you, but without the good health, the fortune is the same as nil, as nothing. And Linda Chong often told this joke. We come here alive, but we cannot leave this world alive. But in between, you should at least have a healthy body. At least you should be healthy. The same with spiritual cultivation. You want to cultivate spiritually, you need a healthy body. If you want to do your Dharma practice, you need to be able to sit comfortably. So say, although you want to practice, but you have pain all over your body, that would affect your practice, right? Yeah. That would be So we understand that human life is like a dream, like an illusion. It is illusory. So, but amidst this dreamlike or illusory life, you still need a healthy body in order to practice. And without good health, everything is empty. Everything is empty. So yesterday we are practicing blessings and fortune, and today we practice health. Because by having healthy body, your brain would be lucid and clearer, and then in order to have wisdom. So we can say that health is the same as wisdom. If you have good health, then you can have wisdom. So by having the wisdom and then the blessings and the health will be the three corners of a triangle. So blessings or merits here, wisdom and health would form a triangle. And Mahotara Heruka is a triangle. His mudra is a triangle. One point at the top and then two sides. That's Mahotara Heruka. He also symbolizes the highest utmost, the greatest spirit of the whole universe, which is the emanation of Adharma Buddha, Mahotara Heruka. That's the highest peak, and then subdivide all the way down. And the practice procedure of Mahotara Heruka includes mudra, includes his form or appearance, he has 21 faces, 42 arms, and 8 legs. And the Buddha Mother has 9 faces, 18 arms, and 4 legs. And the hands are holding mirrors, and inside it there are 42 peaceful deities, which include the 5 Buddhas, but 5 Buddha mothers, the 8 major bodhisattvas, the 8 great bodhisattva consorts, the 4 wisdom kings and their consorts, and the 6 munis, and then together with Adharma Buddha and the Buddha Mother, that's what 42 peaceful deities. And there are also 58 wrathful deities together for 100 peaceful and wrathful deities. They are radiating the 100 precious lights. And for the Dharma practice, one of them is the eyes all over the body. And I have taught that Dharma practice before, so I will not repeat it here. If you can gain spiritual response with Mahotara Heruka or spiritual union with Mahotara Heruka, then you would gain the same union with the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities. You would receive wonderful spiritual sensation or response.
那我们每一次做大放化王金刚的时候，
Every time we perform Mahotara Heruka ceremony, we receive, many people receive spiritual responses. Some people receive the responses immediately and some gradually or slowly. And some people suddenly alleviate their pain after attending Mahotara Heruka. They can feel it themselves. The pain disappeared. And was it your own feeling about it? Perhaps the pain would come back tomorrow or 1 week later. Or maybe a month later, it'll start again. So that's why some people would receive would receive the response slowly, slower, and some people faster. And some people think, oh, this is fine. And then some people think that let me wait for a while, maybe a few months later, before I make a report to the Sutra Foundation that they do receive spiritual response from Mahotara Heruka, that the ailments or sicknesses are truly alleviated. So take your time until you feel completely sure that your problems disappear. That even a week later or a month later or even 6 months later, that they truly disappeared before you write the letter. That's fine. To the correspondence center. To prove that Mahotara Heruka is truly responsive. Every time after the Mahotara Heruka ceremony, many people receive spiritual responses. And not only for the people present personally, also for people who watch over the internet. Those who watch the whole ceremony would receive the same spiritual responses, and they are all over the world. The whole earth will receive the responses from Mahotara Heruka. So today, in performing Mahotara Heruka, Grandmaster too prayed to the primordial, highest, unparalleled, greatest spiritual power of the whole universe to bless all of us here, all of you. We have many faults or flaws. This is the joke. In Taiwan, for doctors opening their clinics, they would say something with their names, like internist Lee or a surgeon. Yeah, this is play of word of Chinese. So if you match like broken bone doctor, Yeah, this is only meaningful in Chinese.
流产科医院，姓吴的开牙科，你不能写作无齿科、无牙科无牙科。还有姓那个应该破音字吧，姓丹的，那个丹，赞啊。对了，他这边也写了，你不能写姓单的开眼科，变成单眼科，只有一只眼哈。
Like someone with the family name single, and then you open an eye clinic, you cannot say single eye doctor. It's all Chinese.
看到一个中医师的招牌，这位中医师姓宋，宋然后他就写着宋中医师。这个笑话是。可以讲是中文的笑话，这个
Yeah, this joke is a joke about Chinese, so it's meaningless in English. Okay, Master saying it. So, like we said, people have so many illnesses. Like talking about the body from the head to toe. And for the head, you have headache. Atama itai. Headache. That's Japanese. Atama itai. Headache. And then the feet, you will have Atlas feet, or in Chinese it's called Hong Kong feet. So even the toes would have ailments such as Atlas feet. Is there a human being that is fine all over the body? There must be some ailments. So these ailments are no good. If you practice qi, the vital energy, first you have to have a full and robust qi, and your channels have to be open and flowing, open and unobstructed. If otherwise, you would have stroke. If your channels are not open, then you may have some heart attack or strokes, whether it's in the brain or in the heart. So for these two areas, it's easy to, it's very fast to kill you. So that's why you have to practice the channels, so that the channels all over the body would be open and unobstructed, including the capillaries, all the arteries and the veins, that all of them needs to flow smoothly, so that the qi can circulate very smoothly. And we have two light drops. One is white light drops, the other one is red light drops. The white light drops is at the brow chakra. The red light drops is at the navel chakra, which is 4 finger width below the navel. And the red light drops would generate temperature. And the white light drops is a kind of radiance or illumination. That's water descending and the fire ascending. and then you utilize the interaction of water and fire to open the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the navel chakra, the sacral chakra, all these 5 chakras. Once you open all these 5 chakras, then the bright, brilliant light would be emitted like Mahotara Heruka, that all eyes all over his body, which mean they are bright light all over his body and clear light. So you practice, you cultivate spiritually until all the channels and chakras in your body are open. Then you would emit light, you would gain light. And by this light, you merge with the greatest consciousness of the universe, which is the Buddha nature. You enter the Buddha nature. So in Tantrayana, we practice the Qi channels and light drops. And this is why. So you practice Qi, so the Qi is full and robust all over your body. You practice the channels so that all the blood vessels in your body and all the channels are open and unobstructed. And you practice the light drops so that the water, the fire light drops and the water light drops can blend and merge with each other, so that lastly your whole body can emit the bright clear light radiance. And then by this radiance you also open your own Buddha nature, and the small eye merge with the great eye. Or it is referred in Tantrayana as the meeting of the child light with the mother light. That is called attainment, the ultimate attainment. So that's the tantric practice in simple terms. And that's the inner tantric practices. But for the outer tantric practices, first you need to gain spiritual response, spiritual union with your guru, with your yidam. And then by the methods of the spiritual union, you practice the inner tantric practices. But nowadays, even before you gain spiritual union, it's also allowed to practice the inner tantra, which is the Qi channels and light drops. Nowadays, it's allowed to practice them together, the outer and inner practices together. So they are the outer practice, inner practice, the highest tantra practice, and in Nyingmapa it's called the Anu Yoga, Ati Yoga, Maha Yoga, Maha Yoga, Anu Yoga, and Ati Yoga. That's the highest kind of practices. There are 9 levels, 9 stages. Spiritual practice. And at the top level, there are the Maha Yoga, Anu Yoga, and Ati Yoga. And for True Buddha School, we practice the outer tantric practices first, and then the inner tantric practices. After you gain spiritual response from the outer practices, and afterwards, when you gain spiritual response, then you practice the highest yoga tantra, and lastly, the great perfection tantra or dharma. And we refer to them as the most important 4 empowerments. In the development stages of Tantrayana or Lạc Ngạc Rim, written by Tsongkhapa. It was divided into Kriya Yoga, Upa Yoga, Yoga Tantra, and Highest Yoga Tantra. So the Kriya Yoga includes all the sadhana or practice procedures in detail. And in the Upa Yoga or Charya Yoga, you simplify the lengthy, complicated procedures. And then in the Yoga Tantra, it means you have gained spiritual union with Yidam. So you are one with the Yidam. So all you do and think and say is that of the Yidams. So that's the Yoga Tantra. And then the highest Tantra, the highest or unexcelled Tantra, is the merging of the perfection. So with one thought, you would accomplish it. With one thought, you have the merit. With one thought, you have attained the merits. And so in Tantrayana is the pure body, speech, and mind. And then the pure karma or work. And then lastly is the pure merits. Because karma also means work. So yesterday I didn't tell any jokes, so today we will tell more. Keep nagging his dad to take him to the circus. But Dad was so lazy and yawning on the couch and said, "Oh, son, I'm just so busy. I have no time." And then Ming said, "Oh, but I heard in the circus there is an auntie without wearing anything dancing on top of tiger." And Dad jumped from the sofa and said, "Let's go. I haven't seen tiger for a long time." So this year is the year of the tiger, and we see so many tigers every day. One day, good friends went drinking, and then A suddenly said to B, "Didn't your wife disallow you to drink?" And B said, "I am like a tiger roaming around the desert. How can I be afraid of her?" And soon afterwards, the wife came, and B said, "Come on, let's clean up. Wusong is home. Wusong is the one who beat the tiger." A patient told the doctor, "Doctor, recently I am more and more awake at night like a night owl, and I eat all the time like a hungry wolf. And I'm always suspicious, always look around like a fox. So what kind of illness is this? And the doctor said, why don't you go see a vet instead? So today, let me continue to expound on the Vajra Sutra, the essential meaning of the Vajra Sutra. Last time, we talked about the Ultimate No Self, chapter 17. So at that time, Sakta Subhuti asked the Buddha, World Honored One, when good men and good women give rise to the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi and strive for perfect enlightenment, how should they dwell in their minds and how should they master their minds? The Buddha replied, when good men and good women give rise to the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, they should generate the mind to liberate and deliver all sentient beings. Yet, upon the deliverance, not a single sentient being has actually been liberated and delivered. Why? Subhuti, if a bodhisattva holds the phenomena of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, then he is not a bodhisattva. Therefore, Subhuti, there really is no one generating Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. So let me first talk about at that time. At that time, we usually say it plainly as at that time. So what happened at that time? Anyone here was there at the ceremony. So open up the memory of your past life. Who attended the Prajna ceremony by Sakyamuni Buddha when the Buddha was talking about the Vajra Sutra? Were any of you there? Yes or not? So at that time, what happened? At that time, something happened. When the Buddha was talking about this chapter, Ultimate No Self, if you can say it, let me blow my breath on it. If you were there, you would know what happened then. If you were not there, then would not know. They would not know what happened. Everybody's so quiet. Nobody wants this. It's been offered several times, but nobody ever got it. It's a good thing here.
在的人，哎，怎么没有讲呢？刚刚有讲在的人，应该举手啊。
Oh, I didn't say you should have raised your hands.
那个时候啊
At that time,
这个2个字啊，很没有人提到的。
at that time,
你看哪一个人
this phrase
出来？哪一个人能够讲那个时候发生什么事？
did
讲得
anybody
出来的，表示他有在场。
able to say what happened? If you can say it, that means you were there.
讲般若的时候，
At the Vulture Peak, when the Buddha was talking about Prajna,
大般若经
about the Maha
讲金刚经的时候，
Prajna Paramita Sutra,
究竟无我分。
or when the Buddha was expounding on the Vajra Sutra, on this chapter 17,
到底发生什么事？
when he said this phrase at that time, what did it happen? What did happen?
没有人讲过的。我告诉大家，
Nobody ever shared this, but let me tell you.
在法会开始的时候，这个法会开始，那个
At
时
the
候
very
开始
beginning of the
究
ceremony,
竟无我分的时候，
before the Buddha was talking about this
现出他的
ultimate no self,
宝珠
there was a dragon
龙女现出，
girl
就是把他的珠
offering
供
her
养给释
pearl
迦牟尼佛，
to Sakyamuni Buddha.
把光明宝珠献给释迦牟尼佛。光明
So she offered a bright pearl to Sakyamuni Buddha.
你能够讲得出来，你这个俘虏就是你的。
If you could say that,
你
this calabash gourd could have been yours.
灵山会上，
If you could say it, that means you attended that meeting or ceremony at
究竟
the
无我分的时候，
Prayahiva, at the Vulture
光
Peak.
明珠
Because at that time, the dragon girl was offering a bright pearl to Sakyamuni Buddha.
那个时候，释迦牟尼佛就跟他讲，
So there's a meaning here. So Sakyamuni Buddha told the dragon
给
girl,
你受记，
let me give you a confirmation
容你成佛，
and a prophecy that the dragon girl
将
will
来
the dragon girl will attain Buddhahood in the
佛讲
future.
这一句，容你将会成佛。
So the Buddha said that the dragon girl will attain Buddhahood in the future, and immediately she became a Buddha. That's when it happened.
大家都知道容你成佛的事，
We all have heard about the dragon girl attaining
光
Buddhahood.
明宝珠。
It was at this time when she offered the bright pearl to Sakyamuni Buddha.
啊，你听人家讲《金刚经》绝对没有讲到这个的，绝对讲不到。
So when you listen to other people explaining the Vajra Sutra, they definitely will not talk about this.
银河因住，银河降伏其心。
How should they dwell in their minds, and how should they master or control their minds?
银河因住，银河降伏其心。我问你们，
How should they dwell in their minds, and how should they master or control their
如何
minds?
住，如何降伏其心？
This is very simple.
这是须菩提问佛的。
So Subhuti asked the Buddha,
善男子、善女人
Lord
发
Honored
阿耨
One,
多罗
when
三
good
藐
men
三
and
菩
good
提心，
women give rise to the mind of Anuttara Sanak Sambhadi, how should they dwell in their minds, and how should they
如
master
何降
or
伏心？
control their minds?
问你们
Now I'm asking
答得
you,
出来的，还是
if you can answer it, this is
如
yours.
何住？
Still this.
你们讲
How should you dwell? How should they dwell?
就无住，
Non-dwelling.
不要加一个手。 如
Don't
何
act.
降伏心？
And how to subdue or master the minds?
无心，
No mind.
没有错了，就是无住无心。
So that those were correct. Non-dwelling and no mind.
哎，但是应该给谁啊？
So whom should I give this
你们
to
认为应
then?
该给谁？哪一个谁喊？先讲，无住无心就对了。
Those were the correct answers.
好，联合
Non-dwelling
，OK，
and no mind.
好吧，那就给联合吧。
Okay, this is for Lian He then, Master. 阿弥陀佛。释迦牟尼佛在解释这一段的时候啊，银河应住，银河降伏其心，没有错，是无住跟无心。 So that is correct.
现在问题来了。
So now the question is,
为什么是无住？为什么是无心？
why is it non-dwelling and no mind?
这个发菩提心啊，发菩提心应该是无住跟无心的。
So in generating the bodhicitta, that it should be non-dwelling
这段
and
是深，非常的深
with
奥。
no mind.
讲实在话是非常的
This
深。
is a very deep and profound.
佛已经讲了，无我相。
The Buddha has spoken on the non-phenomena of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan.
既然没有我，
Since there is no
你还
self,
住哪里？
where would you dwell?
既然没有我，
Since there is no self,
你还有什么心？还有什么那个？
how can you have any mind?
还要降服什么心？既然没有我，
What mind would you master or
就没
subdue?
有心了。我常常做一个比喻给大家知道，
I often give this analogy to let you understand. It's about the moon.
请问
For the whole moon,
月球有阿耨多罗三
Is
藐
there
菩提心吗？
the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi there? No.
月球有
On the
因为
moon
要做什么才做什么吗？
Do you do something because of
在
something?
月球
No.
上，
On the moon,
你还要降服什么心吗？
do you still need to master or subdue any minds?
那是极为亲近的亲近，那叫做
That
刚
is
刚
the
我讲过，
utmost,
亲近
the utmost, the purest of
所有的
purity.
通通都亲近。
Like I said, everything is completely
做
pure.
回向的时候，
In my overall
亲
merit
近
dedication, I have said that may all be pure, everything is pure.
但是什么境界啊？
What kind of realm is that?
境界
It's the realm of emptiness.
什么最亲近？
What is the
空最亲
purest?
近。
It's emptiness that's the purest.
什么无作？没有什么作为。
It's non-action, non-dwelling, right?
什么是无心？
Then everything.
无我
what
呢
is
就当然无心啦。
No mind, because
在月球
when
上还有什么
you
心
have no self,
那
of
是有
course
点
there's
亲
no
近的地
mind.
方啊。
On the moon, how could you have any
就是有
mind?
人
That's the pure place. It's because
才不
they
亲
are
近。
human beings.
有众生才不亲近， 没有了众生相，哪里来的？哪里会不清净？
Because there are human beings. That's why there are impurities.
才那个私心才会出来。你如果无我了，你还有什么
Because there's a self. That's why
释迦牟尼佛很强调
there's selfishness. If there's no self, there's no selfishness.
所以你成就菩萨。
So Sakyamuni Buddha emphasizes this. So you attain bodhisattvahood because you have no selfless,
国家跟国家就会打仗，
no self-interest.
有了私心，家庭就会闹纠纷。有了私心，
So only because of this self-interest that countries are at war, or people fight with each other, or that people don't get along with each other because of all self-interest.
person to person, just person to person.
Person to person.
一个人对一个人啊，一个人对一个人，你有两个人呢，那就有私心了。
When there are two people, then self-interest would arise.
我看你
That
也不顺眼。
you're disagreeable to me and I'm disagreeable to
大
you.
治国家，小治个人。
So, as large as countries and as small as individuals.
就有心。
And because of the self,
如果是
then there would be dwelling and there would be mind.
绝对清净。
But if they are non-dwelling and no mind, there would be emptiness and you're completely pure,
佛讲，
utterly pure.
佛教是无争的宗教。
So Sakyamuni Buddha said that Buddhism is a religion of
你了解无争
non-contention,
吗？
no contention. Do you understand that?
根本没有的，
Nothing.
会起争执的。
There is no arguments,
佛教
no
今天为什么教
disagreements.
团跟教团之间会起争执？
But
是
why
人嘛？
different sects of Buddhism still have some contention between each other? Because of human beings, because they still have phenomena of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan. So Sakyamuni Buddha spoke on this very clearly in this Ultimate No Self chapter on Ultimate No Self. Only emptiness is pure.
真正的像个菩萨
So we need to
一样
cultivate spiritually until we can be like a true
接
bodhisattva
近一点
with no selfishness at all, no self-interest.
所以我常常讲
At least we should get closer to that.
心念
That's why I often remind you to always observe your own thoughts, to correct yourselves,
其实我有
to correct your
一个人啊，
flawed
这个人看了
thoughts or flawed thinkings.
我不太喜欢，
I often dislike
而且这个人是
someone, and as a female one, a woman, I
觉得
don't
他
really
走路
like
也怪
her,
怪的
and she walks really
他讲话
weirdly.
讲话很虚伪，讲话也很
And
虚伪，
the way she talks is very
讲话
pretentious,
也很虚伪，
very
他的眼睛呢、太
vain,
正，
and the eyes are
眼
not
鼻子是歪
right,
的，
and the nose is crooked,
看他走路就不太对。
and just the way she walks is not right.
但是我知道，这种想念是不对的。
But I know this kind of
你已
thought
经
is
产生
wrong.
对这个人本身的一种厌，一种
You have
憎
created a
一
certain
种恨，
a kind of contention,
舒服
a
的
kind of dislike, a kind of
你要想他哦，在
animosity.
上面要想他好的，
So you need to think
他
good
至少
things
还会
about
喊你
her.
师尊好，
At least that person would still say, Grandmaster,
对不对？
hi Grandmaster, right?
你要这样子想啊。你要
So
把它
we
翻
need
转
you
过
need
来
to
想
think this way.
他对
You
你
need to
根本
turn it around. She's harmless to you.
啊，你为什么要看他不顺眼？
Why do you find her disagreeable?
所以有时候我们对一个人想，就是想说，他有优点。
So sometimes when we see someone, we should think of their good parts, their strengths. Where? So you think this way and gradually change the negative thoughts to the positive thoughts. And by doing so, you're cultivating spiritually. So observe your own thoughts. Remember, you need to think of the good sides and to ignore the bad sides and to make it a positive. Never make any enemies. Never have any hatred, dislikes, never. Because if you have any of those, you would suffer first. The one suffering is yourself, not them, because they don't know that you dislike them. Like Grandmaster doesn't show that I don't like that person. You're actually already tormenting yourself. You feel you don't feel good. So you need to change your thought to become good, then you feel good too. So this becomes a positive energy. So if you change everyone that you encounter into positive energy, then you would receive a positive energy from it. So this is correcting our own thoughts, observing and correcting our own thoughts, and that is spiritual cultivation. We can possibly be like what Sakyamuni Buddha said in the Vajra Sutra, that you would empty yourself completely right away. But you have thoughts, and if you don't observe your own thoughts, and you have more and more negative thoughts, you become more and more negative. Then you have all knots in your heart, and you're always very unhappy. You're actually tormenting yourself. You will not sleep well. You will not eat well. You cannot be upright and happy and open every day. Like Grandmaster is very happy every day. I keep correcting my thoughts, and I'm kind and good to everyone. And I find everyone to be good too. I like everyone. I often say this 520, which is a play of words of Chinese saying I love you. I don't feel anything. No matter what. Now, I even find the ghost witch to be beneficial. Now, I corrected my thoughts about the ghost witch. Before, at the beginning of the year, I would always do-re-mi, say do-re-mi to her, which means I tease her. Because to mock her, because she said in the past that I would die at 73, so that's why. Because now I am 78 according to Taiwanese calendar, and according to American way, I'm almost 77. Already. But you kept saying that I would have died at 73 before, but not anymore now. No, I can't do that. because at least she made me very careful in my 73rd year. So that's the benefit, right? Because she kept saying that I would die at 73. So at that time, I was very cautious and very careful. Even when I climb the steps or when I shower, I should be careful with soap on the feet, because if you slip in the shower, you would die. So I was very careful. Even when I wear underpants, I would lean on the wall. So that's the benefit. I was very careful about everything. And now we passed that, so I should be careful to. I should be thankful to her. So she had her benefits too. I mean, there's benefit about her too. So I turned around. Then I would not treat her as my enemy anymore. I don't hate her. Completely emptied. It's all empty now. Everything is perfect. No need to hate. If you hate someone, that's the same as hating yourself. I want to kill you. I hate you.
You are garbage.
No need. The first who would suffer is you. You would be the first to suffer. Observe that when you hate someone, you suffer so much. So open your heart and have no heart, have no mind. Then, and everything is fine, everybody's fine. Then there would be happiness and carefreeness of self-mastery. Om Mani Padme Hum.